Alright, this is Bill and Jess again here with 365 Preppers. Jess is going to go through his kind of a go bag, bug out bag. Take it away, buddy.
As you might have seen, my brother's bug out bag, it's quite a bit larger, has more stuff in it. I designed mine a little bit differently with a little bit different concept in mind. As you'll see, my bag is a lot smaller than his. The reason being is I wanted it to be more concealable. I wanted to be able to quickly grab it, put it on, take off, not have to worry about being loud or noisy. There's quite a few pockets in it, and surprisingly enough, sitting here, we discovered that it actually has a little bag that goes over it to keep the bag itself dry. We also discussed that it could have multiple uses to catch rainwater, and I'm sure there's plenty more uses after that. One of the features I like about it is it has the hip strap, well, chest strap, I guess. With this, it has a little whistle. Has a opening for a camel pack with the water clip, or the straw clip right there. It's very lightweight. This thing itself weighs less than, I would say, 1.5 pounds. It's very well padded. Has a ridge here to help support your spine, as well as it's designed to be overstuffed, so you can actually fill it more than it's supposed to hold. And then it has a cap over the top of it. Once you get this clipped in, you can cinch it all down, make it nice and tight, nothing will rattle around. You got some room up here, you can put a sleeping bag in, what have you. So that's the bag. Inside my bag, like I said, I designed it a little bit differently. I have a 7-year-old daughter who spends a lot of time with me, and she's very important. We teach our kids how to survive along with us. We want them to be prepared to take what we have, and if they need to, go ahead of us, or if they lose us, be able to survive on their own. Being as I have just a single child, I found it very important to provide some of the things that she's used to in the current standings to kind of help her be more comfortable, and you'll see some of that as I explain these items. After discussing some of the items my brother has, some of the items I have, I'll probably end up going to a larger framed backpack and convert this more to a go bag setup. In this, though, I do have about a week's, probably about a week supply if we really stretched it out between me and my daughter. Not a lot of water, but we do have some on hand just to have it on us. Along with that, I have 2 blocks of the Datrex pre-made fat bars, essentially. A lot of people use these on boats because they last for pretty much ever, and you can consume them over the course of your survival period, and they'll keep you alive. Right here between me and my daughter is probably about a week's worth of food. Right here, because eventually we will run out of water, I have the water purifying tablets. I've got a whole bunch of those. They go inside of this Pelican case that I have purchased, along with some other items that I want to keep dry. In this Pelican case, I'll also be keeping my matchstick holder. Don't currently have any smaller matches in here, but I do plan on putting some, along with some cotton swab balls inside there for lighting fires. One thing I did like about this particular container was that it has the striker on the bottom, so I can also strike to start a fire if needed. Inside there I also keep 2 can openers. They're the old military style bladed can openers. I keep them in here strictly just so they don't get moisture to them. I also have the long burn matches, which are essentially just really long matchsticks. designed to provide a longer burning period, which will give you more time to get your base fire going, and allow you to build up a small coal base to light wet materials or other wood or branches, what have you. Inside there also I keep some fairly heavy gauge wire. This is pretty useful for multiple things, stringing up tarps, holding fish in the water, since I have stuff to catch fish with, keep them fresh. You can also use this for creating snare traps to support your snare trap. You can also use this for camp defense if you needed to string some up around the base of a tree. Somebody that would walk into this would probably trip on their face and not have too much fun with that. I also keep that in here to prevent it from getting moisture. I also have just a cheap dollar store screwdriver. Has multiple different heads depending on what you're working with. I have 2 stove and a can fuel cells. These are supposed to last about an hour, which should be plenty of time to cook some food with. I imagine you could break these up and use smaller chunks to start a fire if needed, but they are mainly designed for cooking over a stove. I have 2 of those. I also have fire sticks, fire starters. Obviously these are used to create bigger fires. These can be used in smaller sections and will last quite a while. Here I have some glow sticks. These are obviously used for lighting up at night, keeping yourself safe, or putting one on your kids so that way you can see them, make sure you don't lose them. General purpose, marking, signaling, what have you. As I mentioned, some of the creature comforts. Right here is probably the heaviest item in my entire bag of stuff that most people probably don't consider life-saving items. 2 bars of soap. I have the little kids flossers, dental floss, deodorant, male and female, hairbrush combs, chapstick, razors, Q-tips, 2 adult toothbrushes, 1 child toothbrush, a big tube of child's toothpaste. There's some shampoo in a bottle, as well as hand sanitizer, 2 bottles of hand sanitizer, which can be used for starting fires, as we learned. And there is also a bottle of lotion in there to keep your skin moisturized and for the kid. I don't have it currently on me, but I also have a petroleum jelly container for keeping your skin moisturized. Mostly your lips and your fingertips out in the elements. For my daughter, as well as me, I suppose, baby wipes. They're fairly compact. You can store a lot of them. There's 84 in this box, or this bag. Great for keeping your skin clean, keeping your face, your armpits, personal hygiene, but also mainly for my daughter, just because she's a very clean person, which is a good thing. But this will essentially provide 84 nights of taking a bath. That is essentially what that's designed for. You can also use it to clean up boo-boos or whatever when she gets owies, whatever. Over here I have a general purpose compass. Also has the basic field guide, how to manage and operate compass. This is one of the higher tech ones as far as has distant gauges for maps, has true north markers, also degrees. Good to have. I have a small pack, looks like 4 hand warmers, disposable hand warmers. I keep these mainly for my daughter as well. During emergency situations, being comfortable is important for kids. High stress situations, being able to keep their hands warm. They can take these out, heat them up, stick them in their pockets, walk around with their hands in their pockets and keep their hands warm. Right here I have my emergency camp stove. These are designed to run off of the high density candles, but they also work well with the fuel cells. Put a fuel cell inside there, open it up, put your canteen on top. You can cook your food. Makes it a lot easier to make a small fire source strictly to heat your food up. With that, I have a bag of plastic silverware, enough for 3 people essentially. Silverware isn't necessarily a necessity, although it's very nice to not have to eat with your fingers. I have a little canteen mess kit here, designed to be able to cook over the fire, cook over the stove. Just a basic little canteen set. Has a pot, a pan, a bowl, and a cup. I like to also carry duct tape and electrical tape. There's endless uses for this. If you get bored, make yourself a wallet, whatever. I also have the military style fold-up shovel. Multi-use shovel, good for many uses. Serrated edges. I would probably sharpen this up a little bit to use in case of an emergency for a self-defense weapon. I have 2 ponchos, 1 adult, 1 child, obviously to keep you out of the elements, keep the rain off of you. In emergency cases, these can also be used to collect rainwater or condensation in the air. But this is also mainly for my daughter, keeping her dry, keeping her warm, very important. Right here I have a set of underwear and socks, gloves, and essentially 1 fresh set of undergarments for myself and my daughter. I have a pair of wool socks as well. I have 2 pairs of extra socks in here for her. When you're walking through nature and you're walking through water and you're climbing over wet stuff, your feet are going to eventually get wet or sweaty. Having a pair of socks handy will not only keep your feet fresh, but it'll keep you more comfortable. Having the extra set, you can also take off the ones that you are wearing, clean them, and then dry them out, start back over. A pair of latex cleaning gloves. Very important for multiple reasons. Sanitization purposes, when you're cleaning things or working on a wound, maybe you come across somebody and they're bleeding, must wear gloves. Very important. I have a little miniature first aid kit. This is what it originally came with, just some alcohol pads, gauze, some basic band-aids. I did include some Barbie band-aids for my daughter, more of the creature comfort aspect there. She likes Barbies, imagine that. Along with this little first aid kit, I have allergy pills. Both my daughter and I have mild allergy congestion. Being out in nature makes it worse. Mainly for my daughter, just to keep her comfortable if I need it, so I'm not sneezing while I'm trying to hunt game. Acetaminophen, basically just Tylenol. Fever reducer, as well as pain reliever. Antiseptic ointment, or antibiotic ointment, good for cuts, scrapes, bumps, pretty much anything to keep keep your wounds clean. I have 2 ace bandages. I have experienced rolling an ankle in the woods before hunting, and it's not something fun to deal with. Keeping 1 or 2 of these on hand for mending and supporting ankles or arms or wrist, or making it into a sling if you have a broken arm, what have you, also very helpful. I have some 40 plus FPS sunblock gel, water resistant. It's not a huge tube of it, but once again, for my daughter and for myself, for me, mainly would be on my face, but for my daughter generally, just to keep her from burning. This is the life and heart of my entire kit here. This is what I plan on using when all my other resources are gone. I have Power Pro fishing lure, which is multi-purpose. This stuff is tougher than all can be. Great for suturing up wounds, laying snare traps, stringing tarps up, what have you. Also very good for catching fish with. It's almost impossible for those guys to break this stuff. I know that for a fact because, well, I can't break it with my own hands. This right here is just a simple little fishing portable kit. The rod expands. It's very compact, very lightweight. This is actually one of the nicer models where the top up here is a little bit better quality. Nothing fancy, but in a bind, I have a small kit here where I have lures and grubs and even some fly fishing looking little guys that are, more susceptible, or smaller fish like them. A couple bobbers, absolutely nothing fancy, but once that food runs out, this will more than likely be my main source of edibles, along with the snare traps. This isn't a complete set. This was my very first attempt at gathering supplies. Didn't really have any idea what I was doing. Have a lot more experience now. This is basically then and now videos that we're working on. This is what we're starting with. In a couple of months we'll come back and do another assessment to figure out where we're at, show you guys the progress, and go from there. Definitely appreciate you guys watching our videos. If you see something that you think would go well with this kit, or if you have recommendations, ideas, comments, feel free to leave comments in the videos, comments in the blog post, wherever you're seeing this from. If you see something here in one of our videos that you think might not necessarily be good to have too, let us know. Give us your feedback. I think that's all we have now.
Alright, again, Bill and Jess, 365preppers.com, and we appreciate you guys watching. Thank you.
Thank you.